As riders, we often can fail to see just how big a role artificial aids are playing in our riding and in our success. And markers in the arena actually fall into this as well. This week, I want to bring you a premium live training that I gave inside of Connection, because as you can hear, my voice is still not right and I don't want to get you to go through that. All about this topic and how you can begin to wean yourself off the markers. I hope you enjoy this one. Okay, let's dive in. Hey there, everybody, and welcome to today's bonus live training. I am late by a few minutes. I do apologize. My previous call ran over, but I do know that a lot of you were there and now you're coming here. We're just jumping all over the internet together, aren't we today? Marvelous stuff. Okay, so we are talking all things circles. We are on the circle bus. We are talking circles. We are chatting circles. I am just trying to get my brain from circles or from goals to circles now. And what I want to talk about today is the change that kind of has to happen inside of you and your horse as you begin to wean yourself off the markers. So in the first group of lessons for this month, I had suggested setting up markers for you and your horse and using those markers to help keep the two of you on track, keep you moving forward, keep you going where you want to go. And that's great. And it helps. And it works. And yet many riders struggle to actually move away from markers. So this is a little bit like when riders go from riding on the outside track. So you know when they're on the outside track of the arena and then you ask them to ride down the quarter line. Whew, and they're like all over the place. And the more you're asking them to straighten things out, the more crooked they're going. And it's just one of those phenomenons that happen. That's it. It's just the way it is. But what is important is that as riders, even though we can use the markers to help us, we really, really have to understand that the markers are an artificial aid, and artificial aids are there so we can strengthen and develop our natural aids. Okay. So in this case, your natural aid, and whether you think about it this way or not, it is true, is your perception and your ability to perceive where you are in the arena at any given point. What I mean by that is if you are in the arena at a point where you could do a 10-meter circle, being able to A, notice that, and B, ride an actual 10-meter circle, not a 10-meter triangle / rectangle / buckety looking thing. Okay, it's being able to ride the 10-meter circle. Here we go. People are coming. Woo. So that is important. Okay, so as we are riding the 10-meter circle, what is important is to consider that we need to create the bend. We need to create the track. We need to, through the bend and the track, make sure that our horse is straight. And then we also need to plan for after the circle. Okay. And then I think that another thing that needs to be considered, which is what we also spent a lot of time talking about in that group of lessons, was the intention behind the circle. So one of the ways that I would suggest getting started with this is, first of all, if you use the 8 cones, take 4 away. Okay, so now you're left with your 4 cones. Okay, and then from there, take 2 away. So now you're left with 2 cones, and see if you can measure the strides and if the strides are the same. So if you are pretty consistent and have a pretty good rhythm established, okay, rhythm and relaxation, if they're established and you're thinking, no, this is good, and you're good with that, you can then begin to think about how, okay, so I can get X number of strides that side and I can get X number of strides this side. Now, the number of strides will depend on the size of your circle, first of all, but also then you and your horse and how you're made and how developed you are and what you're actually doing at that point in time and how well put together it is and all that fun stuff. So I can't give you a number. You'll have to figure out the number. Okay. But then from there, just getting it even. Okay. And using that. Now, the other way you can do this, I find, is by putting a marker in the center of the circle. So X marks the spot. Now you're in the middle of the circle. No, you're not. The marker is. And then being aware that as you ride around on your circle, you're keeping an equal distance from that marker. My only concern with this method is that sometimes we can revert back to using our hands a little bit too much for steering the horse. Okay. So just be aware of that if you are trying to stay on a track and you're glancing at the marker here. Okay. They're like, oh, there's a marker. You might be getting a bit handy. Okay. You need to do it from the perspective of your seat. So it is when you bring that consciousness, if you want, or that mindfulness to it, that you're actually keeping your seat equal distance from the marker, that can be a great way to actually keep the horse straight while on the circle as well. So you can keep that in mind as well. The final thing that I'm going to suggest you do is set up poles. So I like the kind of 4 poles. So if you can imagine the circle was a clock face, so you'd have a pole at the 12, the 3, the 6, and the 9. And then from there, you can measure your strides, but then you can begin to take poles out, and you can actually get to the point where you've only 1 pole left. And again, you can count your strides on the circle. And then from there, being able to judge, is my circle pretty accurate? And what I would do is, if you're feeling confident regarding your abilities to ride that accurate circle around and around, the next thing is being able to take yourself out of the place that you always ride, the arena. Okay. So let's say you ride in a certain arena, take yourself out of that, go into the field, go to a different arena. I don't know what your situation is, but go somewhere else. And then from there, from that other place, okay, being able to actually ride the circle there and being able to measure and being able to all this fun stuff in a totally different area, somewhere that you're not used to riding in, and seeing how that goes for you and your horse as well. That can be a big game changer. Okay, I am going to leave it at that for today. This was short and sweet. I do apologize for being late again, but hopefully you got value in this. If you have any questions at all, shoot them across to me. I'll get them there. Okay, have a great one. Keep well. I'll chat to you soon. Be good. Bye. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that, and I do hope that it's helpful for you this week in your riding. It's something really simple that you can work on, and whether it's the outside track or the boundary of the arena or its actual markers, hopefully you can take it and you can do something with your horse to bring a fresh perspective to your schooling this week. If you'd like more training each and every week, just directly to your phone, you've got to join me inside a connection. All the details are over at stridesforsuccess.com/connection. And if you want to just test the waters and see what it's like, why not have a look at Daily Strides Premium? It's also audio horse riding lessons, albeit a couple of years old now, but still really, really good stuff. You can find all the details over at stridesforsuccess.com/DSP. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. I hope you have a super week. Keep well. I'll chat to you soon. Be good. Bye.